Today on CTV News at 5, the provincial government's plan to modify parking rules at childcare facilities after a tragic crash in Richmond Hill earlier this week. Plus, making a cancer diagnosis and life with a nasal tube a little less scary. We meet the Wellington County family crafting custom bags for nasogastric tubes. And pack it with protein. Healthy, fun recipes to send your kids to school with for lunch. CTV News at 5 starts right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. A Kitchener man who strangled his roommate to death is back behind bars. The Parole Board of Canada has once again revoked the statutory release of Kevin Kaler. Kaler was convicted of manslaughter in 2015 for the strangulation death of his roommate, Mary Ann May. He was granted statutory release in 2022 after serving 2/3 of his sentence, but since then has already had it revoked 2 other times. In this third instance, the parole board recommended it be revoked again after he was spotted at an LCBO, despite being banned from any store that sells alcohol. He also admitted to approaching more than a dozen women. The board also said his behavior is deteriorating, including reenacting May's death for halfway house staff when he was questioned about his outing. The province is modifying parking rules outside childcare centres after this week's deadly crash at a facility in Richmond Hill. On Wednesday afternoon, an SUV crashed into First Roots Early Education Academy, located near Yonge and Nottingham Drive. An 18-month-old boy was struck and killed, while 6 other kids and 3 staff were hurt. A 70-year-old man faces dangerous driving charges. Education Minister Paul Calandra is calling what happened tragic, and in the aftermath, he says the province would be modifying parking rules to prevent the use of spaces immediately next to classrooms or playgrounds at childcare facilities, with the exception of accessible spots. Cleanup is still underway along a road and waterway near Allora after a vegetable oil spill. Let's go to CTV's Krista Simpson live in studio for a closer look at this and some other stories our news team is following. Krista, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Leanne. Well, this oil spill happened earlier this week, but the second round of cleanup is now underway. According to the OPP, a large truck with a container of vegetable oil spilled onto Nickel Road just outside Allora. After the road was cleared, a nearby property owner says a large amount of that oil made its way into the creek on his property. He says he had to call the Ministry of Environment to come investigate and clean up the remaining mess.
The cleanup crew has been doing a fantastic job. However, it shouldn't have occurred in the first place. It should have been cleaned up off of the pavement when it was easy. Absorbent materials could have mopped up most of it instead of doing what was fast and easy.
CTV's Jeff Pickle will have more on this story tonight at 6. Also tonight, homeowners at a Waterloo townhouse complex are raising concerns about some work planned at their homes. There are 85 units at this complex on Keats Way, managed by Weigel Property Management. Residents say Weigel and the condo board have decided to replace all windows and front doors in the complex, but a group of them are banding together to fight this plan, saying they weren't properly consulted and the replacement isn't needed on all units. They claim the work will cost tens of thousands of dollars for each homeowner.
The options we have been given is pay a $32,000 lump sum each, or we are increasing condo fees another $200 a month to cover the cost of this, which is a condo loan that they will take out on our behalf.
And those residents tell CTV's Heather Sennerin that's just not affordable. We'll have these stories and more in the next hour. For now, Leanne, it is back to you.
Okay, Krista, thanks very much. And we'll take our first check on the forecast. Alex Pinto live on location tonight from the New Hamburg Fall Fair. Alex, the sun is shining. There's plenty to see and do. This is kind of the perfect Friday evening for a fall fair.
Oh, it sure is. And we're getting a little bit more cloud cover than we were expected to, but it's actually quite nice because we're getting a little bit of a break from any direct sunlight and nice breeze in the air. The good news, too, gates officially opened just minutes ago, 5 o'clock, so some families are already starting to pour in. The Midway rides are getting underway. There's lots to see and do. Yeah, from the Midway vendors, we've got games, and, of course, that fair food. Who doesn't love that? So this is running right through until September 14th. So Sunday at Norm S. Hill Park in New Hamburg. Opening ceremonies are getting underway 6:45 tonight. There's also going to be a freestyle motocross show in the grandstand starting at 6 and then once again at 8:30 p.m. So this fair really combines agricultural education. It is put on by the Wilmot Agricultural Society and really just bringing the community together as well. So a little bit of something for everyone. But yes, weather-wise, conditions are actually pretty comfortable. Many of us across southern southwestern Ontario in that 20 range or so as we take a look from our satellite and radar map. And again, like we're seeing now, a little bit of that cloud cover, and that cloud cover expected to stick with us as we get into the rest of your evening and even throughout the weekend. We potentially could see a little bit more cloud cover for looking at tomorrow, at least for Waterloo region. Just a 30% chance or so of showers we're seeing at this point. So I've got to say, a beautiful weekend in store. If you want to check out the New Hamburg Fall Fair, we're going to be here throughout the rest of the hour and into the 6 o'clock as well. We'll see you in a bit. Leanne.
Yeah, perfect weather for it. Alex, thanks so much. And perfect weather for the Belmont Village Festival this weekend as well. The two-day music and arts festival kicks off tonight at 7 p.m. Of course, Belmont Village, go check it out. Perfect way to close out summer. Stay with us. We'll be right back. With kids officially back at school, you may be needing some ideas for what to put in their lunches. Emily Richards is here with us today to show us that. Great to see you.
Nice to see you too.
We are going to be cooking some protein pack lunches
and
today.
I know how much you love your protein.
I do.
Because you do know how important it is. And we want to keep kids energized through the day. And guess what? Mom and Dad are going to love these recipes too. And grandparents and aunts and anyone else who's coming for dinner. Because you can make these for dinner and use them for lunch.
And that's what I love, saving time in the kitchen, especially through the work week, the school week.
Exactly.
So on and so forth.
And you know what? Sometimes kids are picky or they like certain things. And you know, when you have to pack that lunch, it can be a little bit difficult. And adults too, by the way, they also can be picky. So this is a great way to kind of showcase some recipes that include protein to keep their energy, but also enjoy the food that they're eating, which is a big one.
Yeah, and we're doing a take on two of my favorite things today. A take on a certain type of Caesar salad and a new way to make lasagna.
That's right. Small hands, small bites, but big, big flavor.
Okay.
So we're going to do a couple recipes from the new Think Beef Let's Pack It with Protein recipe booklet. So lots of great tips for parents, great recipes. Most importantly, they're all delicious, which is what I love. And so the great thing about this little booklet, it has lots of packing tips for lunches, but it also has a little menu that you can put together. Let the kids pick what they want, put it on the fridge, and guess what? You're committed. Once it's on the fridge, it's a commitment.
All right.
So we're going to start off with our steak Caesar salad, and we're going to make our own Caesar salad dressing, which I think is really fun. So all these little bowls, I want you to add into here, and I'll tell you what you're doing.
Okay.
So a little bit of oil and mayonnaise. You can use, and I like having just a plain mayonnaise at home. If you use one that has a flavoring, like a spicy one, you could do that and change it up as well, which is really nice. Dijon mustard gives us that nice little bit of zing. And if you're worried about, you know, the bigger flavors with kids that might be picky, you could just leave the Dijon mustard out and then see how it goes. Okay. A little bit of Worcester sauce, a little bit of lemon juice, and of course some garlic, because we want that nice big flavor coming through for our romaine lettuce. Okay. And I'm also going to add a little bit of our Parmesan cheese in here too, because we want some of that flavor, which is really nice.
This is like making your own homemade Caesar salad dressing. You'd think it'd be even more difficult than this, but it's actually quite simple ingredients that you'd probably have most of these in your fridge already.
Now, I'm going to tell you something after, of course, you've already made this. You can use a store-bought Caesar salad dressing if you want to. So
if you want to skip this step.
If you're worried about timing, or if you know that there's a certain salad dressing that your kids love, by all means, use that one. Okay. And then you're going to toss the romaine lettuce here. So I've already got it. And this is a great tip for parents when they're packing lunches. Get your lettuces washed, rinsed, and spin them dry. Pack them in something so that it's in the fridge, ready to go. So you can incorporate it into all of these great recipes. Here, I'm going to give you the tongs. That'll be much easier for you to toss it. And so what's great is that you have all these things at the ready, and this could be a great dinner, or if you need to put it together quickly in the morning, you can do that as well.
Right, okay. See, that took us 2 minutes.
2 minutes, and when you're talking less, it goes way faster.
But we like to talk and cook.
We do. We like to give lots of information, which is really important. So here comes the steak portion. So this can be leftover steak, or if you made a roast the night before and you have some leftover roast. This is just some strip loin steak, which goes on sale quite frequently. So pick it up when it's on sale and pop it in the freezer. All I've done is added a little bit of barbecue sauce and some balsamic vinegar. And then I'm just going to season it with a little bit more black pepper and some salt. And you can throw this on the grill, or I'm going to just put it into my cast iron pan, okay? So I'm just going to get that in there. And what's great about strip loin steak is that it cooks nice and quickly. So you do want to make sure that you have a thermometer so that you're cooking it to the degree of doneness that you like. So if you like it medium rare, medium, you can work with it.
Okay.
So this will take anywhere from about 5 to 8 minutes, depending on the thickness of the steak. And then you want to take it out and let it rest. So that's what I've done here. And I'm going to let you slice the steak,
Okay.
Leanne. So you can use a fork or tongs, whichever you prefer. And I have my carving knife there.
Okay, perfect.
The key about this is that you want to kind of cut it across the grain so you get that nice tenderness in the steak. So the grain is kind of going this way, so you want to just kind of cut it on the bias a little bit.
Like
there.
this?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, of course, I'm hoping that I cooked it perfectly for you.
It looks medium rare, just the way I like it.
So for the
It's
Caesar
perfect.
steak salad for lunch, especially for picky eaters, if they don't like their food touching, you can actually pack the steak separately in a container and then pack the salad so that they can eat both components, but they're getting the benefit of that protein.
Yeah.
And if they love it all mixed together, they can mix it together at school. And if you're worried about the lettuce limping, you can always pack the dressing separately. So there's lots of ways to kind of get that protein in there, which is delicious. And I love the way you cut it because that's the way I love eating it as
Yeah,
fingers.
you can just pick them up.
Exactly.
And that's easy for kids as well.
It is, totally.
Okay, quickly, we got to put these lasagna bites together as
We're gonna
well
do it
because
really,
I want to
really
see
fast.
how you do these.
So these are wonton wrappers, okay? So I love lasagna, as do you, and this is a great little way to kind of change it up and make them ahead. So a little bit of cheese, that's ricotta mixed with some parsley and a little bit of green onion. I have a nice meat sauce here, but this could be leftover chili if you wanted to, okay? So you could use anything that you have left over. Then you're gonna put your second layer on and do the same thing. A little
These
bit
are
of
so
the
cute.
ricotta. And then these bake in a 375-degree oven. And what happens is that they get nice and golden and bubbly, less time than a lasagna, okay? So this would go into the oven. And then these freeze. So it makes
Perfect.
12 if you're making a nice big pan. Pop them in the freezer, and then you can take out a couple, pack them in the kids' lunches or in a thermos if they like them warm, because some kids like their lasagna cold.
Yeah.
And it's perfect for lunch.
Yeah, or what a great way to have an easy dinner after school as well.
That's right. Great snack idea.
Okay, these are great ideas, Emily. Thank you so much. I got to get into the kitchen and get cooking.
You sure do.
And here's what you need to know. Grab your runners and friends. Head to Waterloo Park for the Terry Fox Run. It's happening Sunday. Registration opens at 8:45 a.m. The event will run until about 1 o'clock. You can take part in the 5 or 10-kilometer run. Stay with us. Let's head back to New Hamburg, where Alex is checking out the sights and sounds of the annual New Hamburg Fall Fair. Alex, we mentioned it's a gorgeous evening out there for it. I'm sure lots of people will be taking it in.
Oh, I think so. It's pretty perfect weather-wise. We got to say, and our last hit, we noticed that more cloud cover. Now that sun is shining right directly down, but hey, it is nice. It is still summer. We are still embracing, even though we are getting into fall fair season. Stephanie Sue joining us live to chat more about what people can expect to see. Thank you so much. So for this year, what is the year number for this fair, and what can people expect to see this year?
Sure. So there's always controversy over how long the fair has been around, but we did check the records, and we were formed in 1870. So this is our 155th fair. So we've been hanging out for a while.
Just a little bit, and lots of excitement. Obviously, midway, we've got games, food, fair food, of course, and some families already starting to pour in. What are some of the highlights people can expect?
Yeah, so we did this last year, and so the new this year as well is the motocross show. So there's a stunt bike motocross show tonight at 6 and 8:30. So that's new and exciting. And then we have a lot of the fair favorites. So our demolition derby tomorrow night and Sunday afternoon. And we always encourage people to come and check out the traditional things like the livestock shows and the homecraft entries. Tomorrow morning as well, there's an area open for kids to be able to come and hang out with some firefighters or princesses and do some crafts. And that's a really fun thing that we have at the fair here.
Definitely lots to see and do. Lots of volunteer involvement as well. I hope you enjoy the fair. Thank you so much. All your hard work paid off now, right? Well, weather-wise for us tonight, yes, we are feeling that sun. It is quite warm out here in New Hamburg. But starting with our satellite, or futurecast rather, yeah, we're seeing just a few clouds sticking with us here over Waterloo region and surrounding areas, and that cloud cover expected to stick with us as we get into the start of your weekend. So looking at tomorrow, we are seeing about a 30% chance of showers or so. Temperature-wise for us here in Waterloo region, yes, we are in that 20s. It is feeling a little bit warmer. 24 it is right now in Kitchener-Waterloo. 25 if you're in the City of London. 21 in Goderich. So slightly cooler if you are by the water. Jumping to our almanac. So the high today, 25 degrees, which, yes, above seasonal for this time. And if you're here at the fair, yeah, you might feel it feels like summer out here tonight. Record high, 34.4. That was set back in 1952. And believe it or not, on this day, 1943, we actually got below zero. Well, we're definitely not going to be below zero tonight. Expected to drop down to just 12 degrees for us, which is pretty close to seasonal. And that's sun rising. So we're definitely noticing the days getting shorter and shorter. So the sun rising just before 7 o'clock and setting just around 7:38 we're seeing now. So getting into your overnight for tonight. So 12 degrees, as we mentioned, overnight low, partly cloudy conditions. And then looking ahead at tomorrow, 23 degrees is our expected high, mainly cloudy. This is when we could see about 30% chance of showers at this point. And that UV index sitting at a 6 tomorrow, which is still considered quite high. So yes, if you're maybe coming down here to the fair, you want to, wear a hat, layer up that sunscreen as well. Okay, and over the next several days, once we look ahead to your Sunday, more sunshine is expected with a high of 25 degrees. And it looks like we could be in for several more days of sunshine and sitting at the mid to upper 20s. So overall, perfect conditions if you want to check out the New Hamburg, a fall fair that is kicking off and lasting right through to the weekend. So a little something for everyone here. Leanne.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun and good weather for the weekend forecast, too, to check out all those outdoor festivities happening. Alex, thanks so much. The Liberal government has committed to signing Pharmacare deals with Ontario and the other provinces and territories. The comments yesterday from Prime Minister Mark Carney ends months of speculation about the program getting cut short. Ottawa launched the first phase last year, which provides what it calls universal single-payer first-dollar coverage of contraceptives and some diabetes medications at little or no cost to patients. Manitoba, BC, PEI, and Yukon are the only jurisdictions to sign deals so far. A Wellington County family is making nasal tubes a little less scary. Jordan Van Stee and 5-year-old Kian have started To Be Tough. It's a nonprofit charity that is crafting custom tube bags for nasogastric tubes used to treat conditions like cancer, which Kian was diagnosed with. The bags can get dirty rather quickly, and this way, bags that are customized with a child's favorite character or colors can help give them some power back.
We started at McMaster because that's our home hospital, and yeah, just started donating, and it was really well received by families, and then seeing other kids with the Tubby bags on that we made was like so special.
The bags are being donated to hospitals right around the province. Okay, still ahead on CTV News at 5, Canadian tourism on the rise. The new data that shows why people have been choosing to explore our nation this summer and what the boost means. We'll have the details coming up. And here's what you need to know. Join Market Road Antiques for a charming open-air antique fair this weekend. Explore a curated collection of vintage treasures and timeless collectibles. It's happening Sunday from 10 to 6 at Market Road Antiques in Waterloo. Here's our final 5 stories today. Canadian tourism is on the rise, and that's great news for our nation in the face of punishing tariffs from our neighbors to the south. Canadians have been rethinking their travel plans throughout the summer, with fewer of them traveling south of the border. New data from Moneris suggests more than a quarter of Canadians changed their travel plans to avoid crossing the border and instead explored Canada's provinces this summer. Moneris says year over year, interprovincial spending cross-country this year has increased by 5% and resulting in a boost to Canada's economy by millions of dollars a day. The Canadian Union of Postal Workers today called on Canada Post to come back to the bargaining table, urging the Crown Corporation to treat the negotiations with the seriousness they deserve. The union says it will lift its ban on overtime Monday and instead implement a ban on commercial flyer delivery. Bargaining has now dragged on for more than a year and a half. There has been no response yet from Canada Post to the union ultimatum. A new report shows the pace of electric vehicle sales around the globe slowed down last month. Sales of fully electric and plug-in hybrid cars were up 15% over year in August. That marked the slowest growth rate since January. The research shows the slowdown was particularly notable in China. Lady Gaga was back on stage at Scotiabank Arena last night. The music superstar is in Toronto with her Mayhem Ball tour, and last night was her second of 3 concerts taking place in the city. Lady Gaga will be playing one final show Saturday night. Toronto's her only Canadian tour stop this year, although she is set for shows next year in Montreal if you miss out. And finally for us, the Windsor Spitfires have signed comedian Russell Peters to just a one-day OHL contract. Peters made a stop in Windsor for his tour when he signed the OHL player agreement. The Spits organization says they're thrilled to welcome him into the franchise, even just for a day. And if you'd like to get your hands on a Russell Peters signed jersey, well, there is an auction on the go online that you can put a bid on the jersey for and help out their organization too. All right, that's it for us. We're back at the top of the hour. For now, we'll send it over to CTV National. Have a great night and a great weekend.